For everyone listening too, if you don't follow us on Twitter, we went and finally launched a Discord for the COD Casuals, and we've been working on this for a while now, and we're glad to finally have it at the launch of this game. If you're listening and you haven't joined it yet, we're going to have it in the description below, so be sure to go and join that way or follow us on Twitter. We'll be posting the link all the time, so you can go join up that way. This is a new year. This is actually a good COD. People seem to be wanting to talk about it, and we want to talk with everybody that watches us and listens to us about it, so definitely make sure to join. Once we got our hands on it, we played it for what? Probably 4 hours, I think it took. Yeah, everyone was right.
Yeah.
I think people were being a little light on this campaign. It was horrible, Justin.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrendous.
It is, unfortunately, the worst Call of Duty campaign I've ever played. It might even be one of the worst campaigns in any game that I've ever played.
Just don't put it out next time.
If it's going to be this bad, just skip it all together.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 249 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. I'm chilling. I had a bunch of kids at school today ask about Black Ops 7. They wanted the
scoop?
first take on it. Yeah, they were like, "So, Mister, you stayed away Friday? You playing?" I was like, "Yes, sir." They weren't too impressed with the level though. They're like, "Are you first prestige yet?" I was like, "I'm level 50, like I'm just about there." And they were like,
That's close.
damn, that's what I was saying." I was like, "Dude, it's only 5 levels more. Like, come on, bro, it's not that bad."
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, which is funny, is the hate for like the game. We're gonna talk about the campaign, but like the hate for the game, it spreads to people who don't even play. Like there's kids there who I know they don't play. Like they just play Nintendo. And they were like, "Yeah, Black Ops 7's terrible. It's terrible." I'm like, "Dude, how can you say this about a game you ain't even touched, bro?"
Mm.
Like that's the thing that we see it all the time on TikTok and on Instagram. There's people on there who reply to stuff and they're just like, "Yeah, it's garbage. It's terrible. It's the worst game ever. It's the worst COD they've ever made." And I'm always just like, "What don't you like about it? What is it?" Then when you ask
Yeah.
that question, no reply. It's just a
Yeah.
ghost.
Yeah. Those people, we just can't show attention to them, you know? They're just COD haters, which you can hate on COD you want. Just it's crazy that people go onto other people's accounts and like just spread hate. I've never done that. I can like say that for a fact. I've never like commented on like anyone's stuff and it's just like, this is awful. Or like COD is, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Like I'm just a ghost among the
Yeah,
comments.
no, same. I don't comment at all on stuff. Like I very rarely reply to stuff like on my personal account. I don't really see a reason to. I'd rather just watch it and then I
Mhm.
look at the comments and kind of live vicariously through that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Um, but my whole thing is like, look, don't get me wrong. There's plenty to hate on Call of Duty for, plenty.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna go and leave a comment or talk about like just saying the game sucks, I'm like, tell me why. Be educated on what you're saying here.
Mhm.
You could attack a whole bunch of things with Call of Duty for things that you don't like. But I feel that a lot of times when people are confronted about that, they like don't play the game. They actually
Yeah.
don't know about it. Because like if you were gonna go and ask Simp or anybody that's in the CDL right now, if they had to rate like this Call of Duty, they'd be like, "No, it's pretty good COD." And a lot of casuals would be like, "Dude, these guys are out of their mind. They don't know what they're talking about." Bro, these guys play the game all day. Trust me. I think their opinion on Call of Duty is valid
Yeah.
compared to yours. You know what
Well,
I
yeah,
mean?
no, and especially with us too. Like we're the COD casuals. We're here to talk about it. We're not oblivious that the game's been bad the past couple of years, but there are good things from like every game that's come out of the past couple of years. Even Vanguard, you know, there's a lot of bad, but we can look past like some of the bad. Not say it's a good game completely, but you know, there are things to take out of it. But yeah, but this isn't about the multiplayer though. This is specifically the campaign, which like either this podcast is going to be like our typical 45 to an hour, or this is going to be a long one because this is going to be a rant. Like I'm expecting. You and I definitely we have notes. We won't go into like every single mission or anything, but if you guys like already don't have it, like go get popcorn, go get food, go get a drink, put it on because I have a feeling this one's gonna be a long rant.
Well, and I think it's gonna be one that if you have subjected yourself to playing this campaign, uh, you'll tend to agree with the same things as us, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, it we saw all the
Oh,
comments prior to it.
yeah,
We saw the whole reception to the campaign prior to it. I didn't know anything about this campaign other than the reveal trailer that came out months ago on the game. Um, and everybody was saying that this campaign was terrible. And of course, you know, we took that with a grain of salt. I remember we were texting just being like, yeah, we'll try it out. We'll see what we think. You know, I saw some clips on Twitter at the time that, you know, left me really confused. But I try to be optimistic going into all these things. Of course, you know, fan of the game. I don't want to completely, you know, trash on it when I don't actually know what I'm talking about. You know, basically what my statement was before. People probably say the camp like there's kids today. The campaign's horrible. It's the worst campaign ever. I'm like, yeah. What's your least favorite mission? Like, what's your worst part about it? And they can't even say anything. I'm like, bro, you didn't even play it. Like, don't talk about the game if you don't know what about. You know, but yeah, once we got our hands on it, we played it for what? Probably 4 hours, I think it took. 4,
yeah,
maybe 5, somewhere around there.
yeah, 4 to 5.
Yeah, everyone was right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
We
people being
yeah,
a little light. I think people being a little light on this campaign.
yeah.
It was horrible, Justin. It was
Oh,
horrible.
it was horrible. It was horrendous. Well rated from 1 to 10 after
Oh, yeah.
because I went into this, I like to form my own opinion about every campaign and not letting others sway my opinion about the COD campaigns because it's just my opinion, right? And
Right.
like you said, I just want to educate myself before. And for anybody that's been listening for a bit, you guys all know what we think about the MW3 campaign. And I'm pretty sure I said that this is the worst Call of Duty campaign ever made. I would like to redact that statement because this is definitely the worst Call of Duty campaign I've ever played. Um, there's just been there so many things like wrong with it, and Mike and I will get into all of that. But um, I guess like we don't need to go through mission by mission, but I figured we can start off with just like the beginning of the whole campaign, right? So overall, this was supposed to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. It didn't feel like a sequel to Black Ops 2 at all. Like I don't understand. Like Mason's in there. Uh that's like the only thing that I could really think of how this is a sequel to Black Ops 2. One thing that was good I will say about this is that this was a co-op campaign. We haven't had a co-op campaign since when was it? It's been
I don't know when the
uh,
last one was. I know the first one was World at War. World at War did
yeah,
a, co-op campaign, but I don't know if they ever did it since then.
B oh, it was BO3 co-op?
Perhaps.
I think it
Could
was
have been. I
co-op, but you and
I'm
I
not too sure if it was.
yeah,
I
but
screen go boom.
yeah, yeah. Either way, we were excited about co-op, right? Because we like to play co-op games. It's great. Like I feel like a lot of games nowadays don't do co-op anymore. So this was a big W for us. But with co-op campaigns, I initially thought like when you load up into a campaign, you got your campaign, multiplayer, zombies, right? We click campaign. I fully expected like mission, like new game, and then like you on the right side of the screen.
Yep.
And I loaded in and you invited me. And immediately it shows like, fill squad because you can invite other people to the campaign. And you can play up to 4 players, which I don't maybe it's just me, but anytime I think co-op, I think 2 people. Is that just
Right.
me? Like it's not 4 people, which I'm not saying is a bad thing or anything. Like if you have 4 friends to go and play, that's awesome to fill that squad up. But when I think co-op, I think 2 people immediately.
Yep.
And when I saw Phil's squad, I'm like, oh wait, so this isn't like a separate like private party or anything. Like this is attached to like online. Like there's no solo or anything.
Yeah,
Like
there's
you
no
load up into the game.
offline. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I thought that was a bit odd. I'm like, okay, this looks like multiplayer, which we'll get into
It
later.
yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was just like a multiplayer loading screen. And the fact that it's an online campaign is horrible too. And because of that, when you're playing these missions, you can't pause because it's online, you know, which is insane to even say out loud that in a campaign, you can't pause the game where the game actually stops. If you're in the middle of a fight and you go in and are like, oh, I have to go and take care of something, well, you're going to die, unless you hide somewhere else, which that was ridiculous. And then the other part of it too was like the checkpoints. There were basically no checkpoints in that game. It was only from like remember we did one of the boss fights. There was like a checkpoint where we died during that, I think, and it puts you at the beginning of it. Um, but when it really comes down to how long some of those missions were, the fact that there are none in there is a real problem. I mean, it's just the whole campaign, like the feel of it. We're saying with the co-op too, it just felt like multiplayer or DMZ.
Mhm.
It didn't feel at all like a Call of Duty campaign, or at the very least, just like a single player campaign, which is what you would get out of any other Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a off the bat, like, when you're saying that, when you hit, like, the start and the mission is in the bottom left, I was just like, "Uh,"
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I clicked this, like, sure, but and
Yeah.
this all started with some cutscene that's, like, trying to set the scene and hype it up, and then they immediately pull you out with just like, "Okay,
Mhm.
now you're in a lobby
So
here," you know?
speaking of that cutscene, right? I obviously we beat the campaign, and I went to go watch the people that I watch Let's Plays and stuff,
Yep.
and I don't know if this is a bug or not, or if it's just because it was part of online, but, when you first buy Black Ops 7 and, like, you load into the game itself, it plays that cutscene, of, like, Mason, like,
Well,
going to the
Frank's at
cemetery.
his,
Yeah, yeah.
least yeah, cemetery in the
Yeah,
funeral.
and that's the opening scene, and you see Kagan, right? Yeah, Kagan, the CEO of the guild, which is your, antagonist, your boss, essentially, and I was like, "Okay, cool," and then it takes you out of it, and it goes to campaign multiplayer zombies. I'm like, "Okay, I guess it's setting it up," and then when you click into campaign, you get, like, another cutscene of going into, like, the campaign itself, but a lot of the people that I watch Let's Plays, they didn't get that cutscene,
Mm,
like, at all. It's like when you clicked into it at first because you didn't realize there's a cutscene, and then you backed
yeah.
out, and then we were trying to play it together, and I got the cutscene because I didn't click into campaign yet, and you were like, "I gotta pull it up on YouTube because it's not showing for me because 'cause you're sitting in the
Right, right.
lobby." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Is this a server thing? Is it because it's online and it's not offline and it doesn't trigger that campaign?" Which
Yeah.
it was just weird, and other people dealt with that, and I'm like, "This is crazy," because if you don't have that context and you just start the campaign, like, if I remember right, like, you just go into a fight, like, with
Yeah.
your 4 players. How are you supposed to know what the
Yeah,
hell's happening?
yeah, and, like, even to that point, the whole setup to the campaign too wasn't really that inviting. Like, the story itself, in the game was pretty poor, on all fronts. There was really no attachment to any of the characters. I didn't feel, even with having Mason, being a standby Call of Duty person like Soap or Price, I didn't really give a damn about him and his story, like with his dad. And Harper, I guess, was the only character in there that I really, liked, because he was funny, and he was always like that.
Mhm.
Like
And he was the
it,
only returning one outside of Mason.
Right, and they did that for sure because they're trying to, still pull on people's heartstrings with these characters, just like, Infinity Ward did with Soap and Price. Um, but the story itself was set up horribly. It made sense, like with the cradle and it being this, from the last game they had that in there as well, being a real problem. And it's always like the standard Call of Duty. It's like they're stopping the missiles or they're stopping the bio weapon, and this time they were stopping the bio weapon. Um, and throughout the whole campaign, 4 hours or 5 hours of it, I could care less about anybody in the story. I didn't have any. there were no shocking moments. There were no plot twists. When the campaign ended, I wasn't like, hell yeah, like I was excited. That's how it went. Um, it was just so dull when it came to the story. They did absolutely nothing to develop these characters and set them up. Um, and even on that point too, I felt like the voice acting for the characters kind of blew.
Mhm.
Like, they just seem so square and so like, Mason's like, "No, I have to save my father." I'm like, "Bro, what is this?" What are you talking about, man? Like, no, you do like, I don't don't try to convince me that you need to just by saying that, you know?
Mhm.
And same thing with her, like with, what was her name again? Kagan. Like, she just didn't have any ounce of evil or do anything to you that was, like, all that bad. I like,
We got
I
her for,
thought,
like, 2 minutes, if that.
yeah, you
I in
barely
total of 2
saw
minutes.
her. You barely saw her, and then she would just always, say, like, remember the end of the game? She's like, "What are you doing? Do you have any idea what?" I'm like, "Shut up." Like,
Yeah. There
yeah,
was
it was
yeah.
the story and the characters were just so poorly executed.
Yeah, it there are moments in there when, you know, in old Call of Duty campaigns when an insane moment would happen, like, you would feel together, like, "Yeah, like, hoorah, we're we're together." And there are moments in this where Mason and the rest of your members, like, they come together because they realize, yeah, we have to go take out this cradle in Avalon. And he was like, and we're gonna do it together. And we'll look at the
Yeah,
screen, the camera zooms in, and it cuts. I'm like, oh my god,
the cringe,
like,
the corporate
like,
cringe.
dude, yeah. I'm like, you can say that, but you can't do it this way.
Yeah,
You can't execute it
nah.
like that. And to your point about the characters, right? Like, at least when you and I were actually playing the game, right? We had you and me. Sometimes, like, I don't even know what character we were at times. I'm like, I was Mason, you were 50-50, and then it would go into cutscene and it would actually be me as 50-50. I'm like, whoa, what's
And then I
happening
was
here?
50-50. We were all
Yeah, dude.
50-50.
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening here? And
Well,
I
I know you go.
I realized that at least you and I were playing and we were going through the campaign. If you're playing solo, you're you're obviously just Mason at that point, you know. But like the other 3 members aren't with you. Like the other 2 members are not with us, like going through and battling these robots and zombies, and then would go to a cutscene, and then all 4 of you are like out there. I'm like, you did nothing. We just backpacked you all the way to here.
Well, that's what I don't understand is how did they not include, like, your companion NPCs, you know?
Mhm,
Every other COD has had that where, like in MW3, I mean, we're gonna be comparing it to that the entire time because that's what we're comparing to,
mhm.
for shit CODs.
Yeah.
Like, when you're doing any of those missions, yeah, of course you have people with you. Like, if you're playing as Soap or you're playing as Price or whatever, vice versa, you got the other person with you. It's like, yeah, you're a squad. You feel like a team. This felt absolutely nothing like that. Again, there's 4 people that are on the team. The only 2 that anyone really cares about is, well, Mason and then Harper. And then the other guy, I don't even remember his name. And then the other girl that's 50-50, I just remember her because it's a funny name. And
50-50.
like they don't
Lalani, that was the
explain
name.
explain at all why they're in the team. Like, you knew with Mason and Harper, you're like, okay. You're like, but anybody else, no, they're gone. So these are random people that are here. You're like, okay, whatever. And then yeah, you'd be doing these missions where it's 2 of you, and then you go through a door which we would just sprint through, and then boom, there's 4 people there. It was so weird. It just made the whole thing feel really clunky and like it's not an actual story because if these people are talking all this shit that's going on in the story, why are just you and me doing all the work and there's no NPC to help out, you know?
Yeah, and this is coming from 2 people that, like, we play single player games, so we expect, a linear style game, and you and I are open to, other type of, like, games and how they operate, but, like, we've voiced our opinions about open world games specifically in Call of Duty, it doesn't work. Don't do it. This whole thing was essentially open world in Avalon, which is gonna be the new Blackouts 2 map. And I feel like the entire time this was just a like a trial going into Blackout 2, which a campaign should never be like that. It should just be linear. Like that's what Call of Duty campaigns are, and they're not known to be long, right? Like the 4 to 5 hours is whatever, but back in the day, it used to be short and like there was a bunch of story and character development in every single mission. Um, Whereas when we were playing, I feel like we were just in battle the majority of the time. Don't know anything about the characters. And then we would get the cutscene and a movie starts, you know? And like half the time we realize that we don't even need to worry about these guys. Let's just like run through the whole time. Just run all the
Yeah.
way through, hit the button, and we're getting shot at, and we're on to the next scene, which that's ridiculous. Like these uh NPCs, like they were awful. Like they didn't do
Uh-huh.
anything. What dude, there was a moment in the campaign where it was towards the end. You and I were trying to crank up this cradle, like turning the wheel. We're both getting shot at. The
With
enemy
that
is
biosphere
literally,
thing, yeah.
dude, they're literally right next to us. We're getting shot at, and we're like, just hold. Like we're not even stressed. We're not gonna die. They're not gonna kill us.
In any other campaign, you would have been iced instantly.
Yeah.
Because in this, of course, you can go and you got 5 plates, and you could be throwing on plates the entire time, and there was no difficulty attached to it either in the campaign. I mean, this has to be one of the first campaigns that has done that, where you go in and it's just a flat set difficulty. Which I'm not particularly against in games. I don't think that having multiple difficulties is really like a necessity. But when your main version of the game, whatever they intended it to be, that difficulty level, when it's so easy, the game just isn't there's no intrigue to it. There's nothing to learn about the game. And I know it's Call of Duty. It's not that hard for a campaign. But if you go play Hardened or Veteran, you have to change the way you play. This was like playing on Recruit Plus. Like it was
Yeah.
so bad. I mean, and even Recruit was like Veteran compared to this, because we're standing, like you said, taking all these shots, and like nothing happened. Um, I will say though, on that, they probably did that because if they did have a difficulty slider with the amount of NPCs that you end up fighting in some sections, it would have been insane. There was just a constant overflow, especially when they did the zombies missions,
Mhm.
or like they were tripping and they were in some other dimension, that part of the mission. You'd fight so many people. And it would have been hard. But again, they had to go this route because they decided to do open world. And I think they just did that because, yeah, they want to promote Blackout. And they're also just so lazy because they don't have to do, map design or level design for a single player campaign. And God forbid, tell a story.
Mhm. Yeah, and it was just ridiculous, the amount of flaws, like, right out the gate with this game, this campaign, and we're going through all these missions, and you and I are just wondering, like, "So, what is this story, like, really?" Like, yeah, we understand the cradle's there, and the cradle got out in Avalon. I'm like, "Okay, like, it takes place here. How does this really relate to Black Ops 2?" The sequel. Besides, like, Mason's there and like his father's there. And going into these cutscenes, I'm like, okay, they tried with these cutscenes, obviously. It looks like a Call of Duty movie if they ever did one. But then we would jump out of the cutscene immediately into like war again. And there are just so many moments in this campaign where I think they thought, okay, after this cutscene, you should feel something, like you should be connected. It's like when we did the mission on Hijacked where we went in and it was all like silenced, which by the way, it was only silenced because we made it silenced. You could just run through every campaign mission and just like blow everything up. You didn't need to
Yeah.
do it stealthily. But and you're playing as Razor, who eventually turns on you. And I remember
Oh,
Yeah,
spoiler.
spoiler, yeah. Razor turns on you and it, like, zooms in on him, like, he opens a helicopter door and it's him, and it's like, "Are we supposed to" like, I don't feel
Are
betrayed
we
at all.
supposed to care? No.
Yeah, I'm like, "This guy's gonna die." Like,
And
we're
then
just gonna guys
and 2 minutes later, what do? You kill him.
yeah, it's just I had no attachment at all to any characters here. If anything, it made me dislike these characters more.
Yeah, and again, because now they've like forever been memed,
Yeah.
because of everything that they did, where they make no sense. I mean, you have to look back, man, on like we mentioned World at War. You played the World at War campaign. Like you remember that I forget the name of the mission, but it's with Reznov right in the beginning when you actually meet him and you're crawling through the fountain and it's not no Russian. I forget what it's called now. I have to remember it later. Um but man, that mission, that tells you all you need to know about those two characters and the bond that they have. And that mission is like, I mean, it's probably only like 8 minutes, if that, 10 minutes
Mhm.
or so long. And they just do that through dialogue and storytelling. And it's all like the hardest part for this game. It's all just in-game cutscenes or in-game things that are going on. In this game, there were zero in-game cutscenes that happen. It's all these pre-rendered, like hard cut, boom. Now we've
Yeah.
got some cutscene to make it look like it's cinematic. And then, okay, now we're thrown into the dog shit again. Like they didn't put any time into doing that. And then in the actual gameplay, they've just got that stupid, voice channel that they're all talking on.
Yeah, the
And there's
person pops up.
dialogue that's going on in there. Like all they're saying, this is a big deal. If the cradle if it gets out, all the just the cringe like stuff that these execs came up with. They somehow thought that was a good idea compared to Call of Duty back at World at War and any other COD prior to that over a decade ago, and they told a story so much better just by doing what COD has always done, just making decent level design, having a linear story, and for the love of God, trying to make you somewhat care about these characters. It's unbelievable to me, man, that some people over there, and I'm not blaming Treyarch for all of it, because I think it was a lot of people above them as to what their plan was for the campaign. They all sat around and were like, "Yeah, this is good. Yeah, like we'll do this.
Mhm.
We're gonna go," and everyone was just like, "Hell yeah, they're gonna like this." Talk about out of touch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and one thing I did, like, look up afterwards 'cause it's just so hard to believe that Treyarch messed up this bad, and I went and did research on it. Treyarch had to put their name on the campaign. They didn't create the campaign. Raven Software created the campaign. And I was like, okay, that's a very big, like, key point there because the Treyarch that you and I both know would not fuck up this bad. Like, this is horrendous. Like, it's not even like close because as far as like you and I think, like, they nailed multiplayer. They listened to feedback, you know, they did all this stuff. And I'm like, how can they listen to feedback on all of that, but then just ignore the campaign?
Yeah,
Because
there's no
they
way.
yeah, they created, pretty good campaigns, and if you're bringing back, like, Mason and, like, all the numbers and relating to all of that, I'm assuming they would want to carry on, that storyline and make it, like, a well-written storyline. But Raven, they also worked on uh what was the other open world campaign? I think it was either MW3 or MW2, um, and they didn't change
MW2, I think.
they didn't change anything. Like, this was even
They
more
doubled
open
down.
world. Yeah, and, oh, man, like, if I could talk to, like, a Treyarch, like, developer that is, like,
Well,
truly I'm like, "Look, we won't say anything, but, like, is this what there's no way this is what they wanted." Like, they killed Mason, and, like, I'll let you go after, but the character development, like, everyone liked Mason. Mason was a good character, but now because of this, people are gonna meme on Mason the entire time and kill, like, a beloved character, but also on top of that, if Raven's taking this over, they need to, pay, like, homage to these characters, and they didn't. obviously. Now they're just gonna be memed completely. No one's gonna like them. And the people that uh knew Mason from Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, I guarantee you the demographic has changed like so much now that like the people that are buying Black Ops 7 aren't like our age. I'm sure there is like a decent amount of us, but like I really do think that a lot of people playing like this campaign now, like their first COD was like 2019, maybe even Black Ops 4, you know, and they're loading into this game and they're like, "Oh, this campaign's not that bad," because they're in that open world like era of games, and they don't know who Mason is like at all. And now you just took a beloved character from Treyarch that they developed, essentially killed him, and for people that don't even know who he actually is and like his background, and
Yeah,
they should have just started completely new characters.
I was just gonna say that. I totally agree. I think the nostalgia of multiplayer maps is one thing because it's just a map. But when it comes to characters like this that need to have personality and like purpose and have like a literal voice, um, I think you can only go so far with it because then it's like you're starting to stray away from what it used to be. You know what I mean? It's like I think about that with like James Bond.
Mhm,
Like they have that whole thing and it's great. And obviously, like they've taken their time to make sure they find a good one all the time. But there does come a point where it's like, okay, like, do we need to call it quits on this whole idea? Because who's really getting into this right now? Like all the old heads like us that were into it when Black Ops 1 came out, how many of those people are still playing? I'm sure a good amount of them are, but how many of them are really invested in that story? And to that point about a lot of the younger people coming up, they don't care. I think for them in general, and I did see in Tyler T Dog's video about the campaign, he mentioned this about how the campaign should have been like completely scrapped, which we could talk about towards the end. But I think too, they need to just go back to the drawing board and come up with completely new characters and a completely new situation to refresh everybody because this stuff going back with Mason and all that, there's no way they can be returning with that guy after this disaster campaign that they had. It's
mhm.
like he's been forever ruined because of this. And I don't really get why they had to do what they did.
Yeah, and if if I'm like a long-term Treyarch developer that helped write this story and like build the game, seeing like another developer like try but do something completely different that's not in the vision that they like originally had would kill me because that's
Oh
like
yeah.
your baby, your project that you worked on for like over a decade at this point, and like it's just killed in 1 year, just like that. And now your Treyarch is slapped onto that as yeah, like when in reality, I'm sure they didn't have a say in like anything besides yeah, we can use these characters. This is like the storyline. Because all right, if you take a step back and like you look at the storyline as a whole, all right, you can do something with that if you make it a linear game. Uh, and they didn't at all. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Them like pushing this out when I don't even know if they think that this campaign was like finished. Is this complete in their mind? Because yeah, to Tyler's point, like at this point, if Treyarch, the superior developer, they don't have enough resources to work on multiplayer and campaign in zombies, maybe just scrap campaign completely, which is tough to do, and that's probably not Treyarch's decision, to be completely honest, because I just find it so hard to believe for them to like make a really good multiplayer and then they're like, "Yeah, nah, this campaign is just awful. We're not gonna put any effort into it."
Yeah, that makes no sense, right? Like they would completely commit in one area and drop the ball in the other. And also I don't get how they could go this direction or think that this is the way to go when even last year from Treyarch, like you can say what you want about Black Ops 6. I mean, we had our whole review on it, but like that campaign was serviceable. It was
Mhm.
good. Like it was not great. It wasn't like that memorable, but it did the job of a COD campaign, you know. And even to that point with MW3's campaign or Cold Wars, Cold War had a good campaign. Um, I just don't know how they could have imagined that this is the direction that we want to go. Or like from I can't even imagine if they were thinking that, oh, this is what the fan base would like. This is what they would enjoy. You know, there's no way if there's some group, some peer review group that came in and said that. I mean, they're out of their minds. You know, I haven't found anyone that likes this. Um, I think they're trying too hard to streamline all of Call of Duty. You know, we said this with with multiplayer and Warzone, trying to blend those two together. I think they're trying to have all of this be like one thing, you know, where yeah, you've got your multiplayer, which is kind of tough because that is its own separate thing. But then the Warzone thing and campaign, I mean, they were way more closely related than multiplayer was. Um, and I mean, half the maps when you be playing them in Avalon, you're going through and you're like, you know, travel 300 meters to this spot. And then you're like, I remember one of the missions we were in, we're like, oh, dude, this is, what was it, from last year's map? The one with the piano and it had the pool in it.
Oh,
What was the name of that
Skyline.
map? The bar? Yeah, we're like, dude, this is Skyline, you know? And you're going through and you're seeing all the maps that they're talking about. And then the last one, they're like, yo, or is it Blackheart? Well, that was the map that you ended up
Mhm.
going to. I'm like, dude, this is so weird. Like, these are all multiplayer maps, and they're not like reminiscent like we've seen in other CODs where like, oh, dude, this is like the multiplayer map, but it's way bigger and it's like a different time of day, and they've added some extra stuff. Dude, this was like we spawned in on Blackheart for the final map, and I mean, literally just spawned in there, no setup. We're like, bro, this is exactly the map. Like, holy shit. You know, they haven't done anything. I'm like, dude, we could just spawn right into this and go off front. Like,
Mhm.
it was
Which
so odd how they did that, and it felt really weird. It didn't
yeah.
feel like, you know, you were actually part of a campaign. It was like they were trying to see how they can make this story and characters fit into the Blackout, like,
Mhm.
multiplayer kinda thing, if that makes sense.
Which I wanna know what that communication between, like, Treyarch devs and, like, Raven or, like, the people above. Because again, I'm just convinced that Treyarch, like, they have a vision of what they wanna do, and they're running out of resources, and they're being told from above them, like, "No, there needs to be a campaign. There has to be." You know, and, like, they're stretching themselves, like, too thin. Um, and they won the battle of like, all right, we made 3-lane maps. That's what you guys wanted. People love 3-lane maps. And now, all right, the people on the other side for like Blackout too, for Raven, they're like, okay, how do we take your 3-lane maps and put them into the campaign and Blackout and make it feel like an open world map? When look, in reality, if you took all these 3-lane maps, they would make an awful like open world map because they're so small. Like 3
Right.
lanes don't work on that, but open world like Warzone Blackout is different from individual multiplayer maps. I don't understand why they can't separate that, and because it just seems like they're being lazy because they're like, oh well, Treyarch already did the job of creating the maps. Let's just use them. I'm like, you can't do that. Like it just doesn't work. They finally have good
Right.
maps in on the multiplayer side. You can't take these 3-lane maps and just put them into Avalon, but the whole separate point. But yeah, like I just feel like it's coming from above them and they can't do anything about it. And then like going a little bit back to the campaign, the main characters that we were talking about, like the antagonist, Kagan, uh, she was like pretending to be what's his name? Menendez.
Menendez, yeah.
And when she was pretending to be Menendez, like he was another person that I think people sort of liked as a villain. Like you kind of like knew a little bit about him.
He was a
Uh
great villain. Yeah.
yeah. And then I feel like they should have carried on with that, if anything. You know, like introduce these new characters and like carry on with them. But when we got into the missions, like the first time we like fought Menendez, right? It was this open world like battle. It felt like Dark Souls. Like I hate those fucking games. Like I just don't play
Right,
those
he had
games.
the giant health
Yeah,
bar above,
yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
what is this? And you and I were playing this, and we are like, we are jumping through with this kinetic jump, which honestly, that was probably the best part about the campaign, like, just moving about the map and, like, the different abilities, because it was different from COD, which that's
Right.
totally fine, but the fact that movement was probably the best part of a campaign is not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that battle, like, we're jumping from rock to get to him, we're like, "Well, dude, what's happening? Like, are we in a dream? Are we is this real? It can't be."
And then
And then
he's teleporting.
yeah, it's teleporting and a giant machete, like, comes and, like, that's how we kill him, like, this is not Call of Duty. This
Yeah,
is
remember you had to call in
yeah.
that kill streak? You were like, "Dude, I wanna see what it looks like." And I remember when you did it, you were like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You're just
for, like,
hovering
aerial view, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, dude, you have to track where he is."
dude, yeah.
Like,
And when that happened too, I'm like, "I'm gonna die," because I just popped it, like, in the middle. No,
yeah. No, you're good. No, you're
I'm
good.
good. Yeah, yeah, I'm getting
Like that.
shot at, but no, I'm good, and I'm just, like, I'm taking my time trying to line up where the machete comes down, and then, yeah, you kill these bosses, and then it's just next scene. I'm like, "W it's so anticlimactic." Like
Yeah, and he didn't really play much of a role outside of that. Like there would be some flashbacks and stuff where or like moments where the cradle was affecting your, your consciousness or like what you were viewing as reality. And it just it was so odd. It didn't have really any weight to it. I thought he was going to play a way bigger role in the campaign than he did. So just to think that he was a figment of Mason's imagination and that's it. And then Kagan barely shows up and says some like trash ass one liners. Um, it really made you like I didn't really hate her. It's like I don't like okay,
yeah.
yeah, she has the credit. Like obviously she's a bad person, but I'm like who really cares that much about her? Like, yeah, she's a bad person. Okay. Like, we have to go kill her. Sure. Roger that. Like, it doesn't really mean that much to me. Um, even like, I can't even believe that I'm going to say this. I'm like, dude, when Makarov went and killed Soap in
Yeah. Yeah.
MW3, I'm like, that was, even though it was so fucking stupid, like, that was a scene where I'm like, oh, like, but like you
Yeah.
hate him, because
Mhm.
he's doing something to a guy that you really care about. I'm like, this woman of she hasn't really done anything to us.
Mhm.
There was
Mhm.
no reason to hate her.
Uh,
And I was gonna say too, because maybe we talk about it too, is like the whole boss fight thing. At the end of it, even more anticlimactic, you don't even fight her.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
then that's it. It's like, dude, so why should I hate this person when she poses no threat to me?
Mhm.
Says trash lines, and yeah, you don't even again, you don't fight her.
Yeah, and when you brought up Soap, dying, like, you're right, like, we at least had emotion towards that, we're like, what happened?" And that wasn't, like, a full cutscene, it didn't hard cut black, it was in game, like, we're in the middle of
Yeah,
battle, we turn all of a sudden, he gets popped, and then, he runs away, I'm like and then you're still in battle, you're still trying to, like, figure out what just happened. In this, like, you it would just go straight into cutscene, like a hard black screen cutscene, and it's a generated trailer that's already made of these guys. I'm
yeah,
like, it feels like all this stuff was just slapped together and no emotions or anything was made while making this. And yeah, to your point, like, I didn't hate this chick. Like, at the end, I'm like, okay, she's being like a bit of an asshole and like evil, and Mason decided not to kill her. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, she didn't really do that much stuff though. She tried to kill us with the robots, but like, we destroyed that at the
yeah,
end. And the boss battles, with how it was set up for every boss battle, we knew it was going to be a boss, because that's how all those like Dark Souls, like open world games set you up. You walk into a room and it's a big room, and you're like,
yeah.
oh, there's going to be a battle here. And I'm like, this is not COD. This doesn't happen in a Call of Duty campaign.
Yeah, and then the bosses themselves, I mean, what was that? I mean, they were just these odd, like, not completely unrealistic, weird things that were going on. Like we said, the Menendez fight, he was teleporting all over the place. It was obviously it was in there, like, I don't know what you call it, like the cradle conscience,
Yeah.
where they're in some other world that's like the upside down. which that was so weird too. Like you're split between reality and not reality. And sometimes the line was blurred because I'm like, there's zombies, but then there's also like cradle people that are in here. I'm like, is this real? Is this
Mhm.
fake? Um, but they were all these overblown giant bosses. That, they were like bullet sponges, or and then you'd find maybe like, you'd have a kill streak or a rocket launcher, do a bunch of damage, they go away, then you fight a wave of enemies, rinse and repeat. Um, and they were all cringe, they were all weird. No context to like why you had to do this boss fight. I mean, again, when we're talking Call of Duty in a like having a boss fight,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
I
Dude,
mean,
why are we in
like,
Stranger Things at the end with a giant fucking
yeah, like
plant that's woods
like
inside? Like,
yeah, I mean that I forgot about that one too. Yeah, Woods gets like taken into this weird plant, and then you fighting that thing like that. I saw someone else talking about it this morning when I was watching a video. He's like, that would be like a great zombies boss. And I'm like, yeah, like that would be
mhm.
cool in zombies. No one would bat an eye about it. But the fact that it's in campaign, you're like so confused. And that was my main feeling throughout the entire thing, was just confusion. I didn't know what
Yeah.
I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. All I was just is like, okay, let's just run through, let's just shoot. And then I'm like, we see like the doors, we're like, cutscene, cutscene. We run to the cutscene, we're like, there we go. We made it. All the other enemies, like of the 150 NPCs that we just ignored, screw them. We just got to the cutscene, so they're all reset, you know?
That's the part that frustrated me most because in a linear campaign, that doesn't happen. You have to get rid of all the enemies or you're gonna die.
Yeah.
In this, uh, you can just run right through. Like, you kill a couple enemies, you get to your objective, cutscene. It's like none of that ever existed behind you. Like, we're getting shot by like robots, dogs, enforcers, like all this stuff, and we're just sprinting through. Um, there was at one point we were waiting for the elevator to go up, and we are like, all right, it was the one that we did in like 10 minutes that we are gonna sign off from, and
Oh yeah.
we're like, "All right, we're tired. Let's just get through this." I pulled out my knife and we just ran
Yeah.
and then into the cutscene. Like we didn't even do anything. Yeah, it was just I don't know what they put out. The bosses were all weird. I felt like I was in Stranger Things like half the time, like towards the end. Like, why is Harper? I get it, like it's his mind, but why is he a giant like doing this? And the whole time when I saw him, like this is just me. I wasn't calling him Harper. I was calling him like Merle because he's from The
Yeah.
Walking Dead. I'm like, dude,
Right.
that's all I hear every time I hear his voice.
I hear that voice, yeah.
But it was just like I felt like I was playing open world Dark Souls with like some Call of Duty because there are weapons in it and other open world games that tried like to just mash it all together. I'm like, why can't Call of Duty just be a linear campaign? Well, like
It
it's
seems
always
to
been.
me It seems to me to that point of why can't it just be a linear campaign? I fear that Call of Duty is running out of ideas with this
Mhm.
stuff. Because I think that's why they try to reuse a lot of these characters and these ideas. Um, because they want to one just tap into people's nostalgia, but they know that this worked in the past, so they want to do anything that they can from then and try to morph it to fit, Call of Duty 2025 and so on, and it just doesn't work. The time is different. The people that are working there are different. Um, and I think you need those creative minds to be able to pull something off like that. In my opinion, I think you really need, it's the people that are going to be the ones that make a good game, of course. And you need to have that creative direction. And I feel like with the people maybe that are involved in Call of Duty and all the developers, and especially at Activision, there's no synergy between them. And they have no idea what direction they want to take this series into. And when you don't have a direction, you get shit like Black Ops 7's campaign. I mean, it's horrible,
Mhm.
and I fear that if they don't get a grip on this and they don't start to try to, create new ideas, it's going to be slop after slop. And it's just going to be this constantly, because they don't have any ideas.
Yeah, and at that point, like don't even bother putting out a campaign. Like don't
I
put
mean,
out
right.
trash, and it's it's awful when a developer like Treyarch that's supposed to come and save COD has to attach your name onto something like this when I'd bet a lot of money that they were not happy with this. I truly
Oh, yeah.
don't think
No way.
any developer from back in the day would sit there and, like, review this and watch through this campaign. It's like, "Yeah, like, we approve that of that. That's a standard of quality that we want alongside with our
Actually,
multiplayer." There's no
I
way.
w I wanna go and check because I could be wrong. Um, I thought that IGN didn't they review this campaign? And
Yeah,
didn't
they
they
rated
rate it?
it was like a 6 or it was a 6
I'm
or a
trying to
7. It was better than Battlefield 6, and Battlefield 6 didn't play it, but I heard it was horrendous. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
so
"That's."
they gave it a 6. They said it was okay.
Yeah, that's
But then, yeah,
crazy.
Battlefield 6, what did they give that campaign review? They gave this out of 10. Does it even put it on here where they have it? This video's 17 minutes long. You kidding me, bro? Get out of here with that nonsense. I don't know. They must have rated it. I think they rated it better, right?
I think it was a s like, 1
Black
better, a
Ops 7.
7
Yeah,
or something like
which
that.
is insane. To think that anyone can say that the campaign for BO7 is a 6 out of 10, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You need to get out more, bro. You need to play more games. Like
Yeah.
it's horrible. It is
The
unfortunately the worst Call of Duty campaign I've ever played. It might even be one of the worst campaigns in any game that I've ever played. It's like there's really nothing to be like there's nothing in the pros side of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and the man, if a Treyarch dev is listening to this or something, we say
I'm
this all
sorry,
out of
bro.
love. Like, we just we love your multiplayer, and I'm sure we're gonna love zombies. Like, we love your game, and we want it to be a full package, and if for whatever reason you're not on an NDA and you wanna come onto the COD Casuals and talk about your feelings, like, we'd be happy to.
What
Uh,
happened?
but yeah, like, I didn't feel like I was playing a campaign. I felt like I was playing like a trial run of Blackout 2. That's
Yeah.
what it was. It wasn't a campaign. It was like mini movies that they like slapped together. Um yeah, no in-game cutscenes at all for anything. No character development. Why am I fighting a giant plant? Like and to your point with the running out of ideas, I think that's kind of happening across the board in the gaming industry in general. Because like, there haven't been that many games coming out that have been great, like banger, like single player games and stuff. Um, there are like a handful of them, but like overall, gaming's been I don't know, it's been weird like the past like year or two in terms of games. People are just getting bored like really quick. But war games and like war movies, like it's played out all the time. But you can make a really good campaign and like make an emotional attachment to like all these new characters if they really wanted. And they're just not doing that.
Yeah, they I mean, I do agree. There is a bit of a drought right now, and a lot of developers are struggling with it. But even to, against that point, there's plenty of teams out there that are killing it. And it's like, dude, what's your excuse? I mean, I'm playing it right now with COD. Like Ghost of Yote is unbelievable. I
Mhm,
get you can't compare that game to Call of Duty's campaign. Like, of course, they're way
mhm.
different.
But
But
that's
I'm like,
open
man, when
world. They did it right in open world.
right, right, because it's like you need that amount of
Yeah.
time, and part of it goes to that whole debate of what COD can do within a year. I hate that excuse when people
Mhm,
say it's like, well, the yearly cycle. I'm like, brother, they've been doing yearly cycles since the dawn of time with COD. And some of the best CODs that ever came out were in that yearly cycle. I mean, you go for World at War, MW, Black Ops 1, then MW2, Black Ops 2, MW3. You
mhm,
kidding me? Like all those games, all 6 of those games have insane campaigns, like ones that people are always going to go back and play. And now people say that that's the problem is it's on a yearly release. Like, get out of here. I don't care that people say there's where they got blackout and they've got more stuff that they got to be doing. Like they have another team developed for that stuff. Like that's why they have people that are working on the campaign. Like why Treyarch had Raven do it. Fatal
mhm.
mistake.
Yeah.
But like, they I don't know. I think that the ideas that they come up with are just they're not good enough.
Mhm.
Talk about performance review. It's not good enough.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
the
come on here.
I feel like they just need someone at Treyarch just to go to every single dev and, like, lead them into, like, what the vision at Treyarch was, because it's very clear that they're running out of resources, and, like, they're all hands on deck and all multiplayer, and I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong with this, but it just seems like Treyarch can't do it all. Like, they're always a savior, and there's not enough of them to go and do everything. Which that happens everywhere, but you need to, train up those people that, uh, are developing the storyline, because
Yeah.
I just do not believe that a developer from Treyarch is looking at this and is like, "Yeah, this is right. Let's not like, it hits everything we want." There's just no way. Like, they basically took a key character that they created from years ago and destroyed him. Like, no one's gonna be talking about it, like Mason. They're gonna
Right.
be talking about how bad this campaign was and how he was in this.
Yeah, and it was really just like a show for what they were trying to do with Blackout, and in particularly too was that whole ending. Like, what was that called?
Endgame,
Like the yeah, the end game.
which is like
I mean,
DMZ
maybe some
and
people like
exfil.
that. If you're big into like Warzone and stuff, I'd be curious to hear what those people think of it. Because I heard kind of mixed things on it. I mean, bro, we spawned in and then you were like, "Oh, dude, there's an exfil." And we,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
immediately just like, there was some like, we had to hijack some truck or whatever, and I was like, "Nope, we're getting
yeah.
out of here." Like, I have
The
no interest in doing this. I don't even know what this is.
Mhm.
And even with that, with the cut, they couldn't even do the credits right.
Yeah,
Like, the game ends, and then they roll credits for, like, I mean, am I wrong? Like, 5 seconds, and then
mhm.
it goes to some other cutscene that's showing everybody that's in the plane, like, gonna jump, and then you're
Mhm.
right into that. I'm like, "Dude, who maybe those people didn't want their names on there
Maybe, yeah,
in the credits." But I'm like, "Dude, there were people that worked on this, like, are we
yeah,
not gonna give them credits? Like, do you have to go to the main menu and, like, click the credits button, and
mhm,
then you get the full credits?" Like, I just thought again, it was so glued together, like, so poorly,
mhm.
it made no sense. Like, we can't say it enough. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
god, it
The
was so bad.
the ending of it too, when, uh, all 4 of you and then you bring Kagan and, Marshall calls you and is like, "You guys did it," and then, he says, "But Avalon, it's still infected, the cradle got out."
Yeah,
And then Marshall's like, "I'm here, we got time, we can here stay and, like, go clear this out." Obviously leading into, like, Endgame and Blackout, I'm like, "This is so cringe." Like,
well, and
I
then
just felt like I just talked to a salesperson for the last, like, 4.5 hours, and they're like, "Oh, yeah,
right,
but here's the product." I'm like, "I don't care about Endgame," and I've heard Endgame, though, is, like, really fun, but for, like, those people, like,
right,
what we're just not, like, open, like, DMZ style, like, exfil games type of people. We're just not.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, like, and I don't we're not gonna give it a shot because we don't like it, but it's like, I'm trying to think of other, like, exfil games because we don't play those. The
Arc
I
Raiders right
Yeah,
now,
yeah, like,
like,
but that
phenomenal game from
yeah,
what I've heard.
yeah, yeah, I've watched gameplay of it, and it looks fun. It honestly looks a lot of fun with a bunch of friends, but that game was designed to be that.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. I was just gonna say.
if a giant spider is running at me, like, I'm freaking out, and that's it's probably fun, like, to like, you and me running around trying to, like, scavenge and, like, loot stuff. It's kind of like
Right.
a bigger Minecraft, but this, like, it's not. We jumped out of a plane and landed in, and they're like, "Alright." I look at the map, I'm like, "Holy shit, what do I have to do?" I'm like,
Yeah, oh, it's
I gotta
overwhelming.
go clear this, I gotta go clear that, let me go rob this person, let me go do this, and
Assassin's
then we
Creed
gotta
Odyssey,
exfil.
bro.
Yeah, gotta
The
go exfil.
PTSD still there. And
Um
we're also missing this really quick too, if I might. In between the jumping out for the Endgame thing, there was that like scene where
Mm,
they had
mhm.
that girl Kagan's face on like some weird futuristic thing, and this dude smashes his fist bleeding. You don't even know who he is. It said some name on there. And again, it's stuff like that that I can't stand it because we don't know who this guy is. We don't care about him. But they try to make it seem like, oh, he's a big bad guy. Like you got to be. We're gonna watch out. Like this is gonna set it up. Like everyone who's playing in their, playing at home is shocked to see this guy. Like, is that what they were expecting for me to see that and be like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen with him?
Mhm.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
It's again these corporate people, it's the way that they think about gaming. Like you can this just had it running all the way through it.
Mhm.
And it was so again, we say cringe because that's really the only way I can describe it. It's so forced.
Yeah, and, I don't know. I think all this came about because at the Warzone, all these seasons, because these are the cutscenes that are played every time a new season comes out.
Mhm.
Oh, a new character, introduce like all these mini cutscenes, you know, and that's exactly what happened. Like this guy and came out, no idea who he is. I'm sure we're gonna find out who he is in the next couple seasons, like released. Like, what is he gonna do in Avalon? You know? Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna do something in Avalon.
And I just hate that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you know what I mean? I want the campaign to end when I finish the last mission,
Mhm.
you know? Like, I don't need all these random small cutscenes like that. I have to wait months for the season to come through. Like, I don't know, maybe I stand alone on that, but, I think that again is part of their lazy problem here. They can't tell a story within the campaign, and this is happening with the other CODs too, with all the whole seasons. A lot of them they do. They try to like weave all of this stuff together in all these characters and stories to hopefully set up the next COD, and then they completely blow it. I think the only one, shockingly, that did that. Do you remember Vanguard?
Yeah, Van yeah.
When they set that up
Mhm.
with that woman that looked like
Mhm.
from the '40s, like from World War II with the sniper, and
Mhm.
people were like, "Oh, shit, like, we're going back to that." That's the only time that it, like, actually connected, and I don't even know how great that connection was, but it was done.
Mhm.
But with this, like we said at the beginning of the pod, like, this is supposed to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. How?
Yeah.
In name only, like that's it. If it wasn't for Mason and Harper being there, this has nothing to do with that game. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, and with Menendez too, but he plays basically no role in this. Um, yeah, uh, it pisses me off thinking about it, Justin. We
Yeah.
wasted 4 hours of our goddamn life.
I know, yeah, and, man, if any devs that worked on this game come out, tell us what happened, please, because again, we just I like it sucks shitting on a campaign essentially this hard because yeah, to your point, honestly, I think this was the worst campaign I've ever played in all of my gaming career ever because I don't even consider this a campaign. Like I keep saying it was like a pre-trial to like Warzone, Blackout, and like that's what it was. It felt like a promotional uh like setup for Blackout. That was it.
Yeah, this isn't a situation where the game like is maybe something that you don't like, or it's just like, maybe a bad purchase, but there's plenty of people out there who think it's a phenomenal game. Like maybe you're just in the latter half that doesn't like it. Bro, I don't think there's anybody that I know unless if they do, they're getting paid. Like they have to be to say that they really like this campaign. Like, no, it's definitely solid. Like it's not that bad. I just I can't see how anybody would say that. There's virtually nothing redeeming about this.
Mhm.
Um, like I guess the only thing you could possibly say is graphically in some of the cutscenes, and like I'm stretching like a
Yeah.
million for
Yeah.
that one. Like it's whatever. It's pre-rendered cutscenes. Anybody can do that.
Mhm.
Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, and what you're saying about being harsh on it, like it does suck, but I mean, we can't lie about these games. You can't just sit by and be like, we're not getting paid by anybody to be
Mhm.
talking, saying, it's maybe not what they were looking for, but it did hit on some points. Like, there's no political answer. It sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
this campaign was just bad, and it again, I'm gonna keep saying it. It is going from multiplayer. You and I have been playing multiplayer. We love multiplayer. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
To campaign and like that's the other good thing that they did. They made it co-op, but
Yeah.
they didn't execute co-op well at all because It should have just
Co-op meant 4 people, and it's online.
yeah, it's on yeah. I it's just crazy to me. And I guess we're like wrapping up everything about this campaign. If you haven't played it yet, honestly, don't play it. There's no point. um unless you
Save yourself some time.
unless you are like us and you want to like form your own opinion about it, then yeah, go and play it. You're probably gonna form the same exact opinion. Unless unless like I was thinking, dude, this is probably some people's like first ever Call of Duty. And like they think this is a normal campaign and they're like, it wasn't that bad,
Right,
which is
right.
crazy. But yeah, there's nothing like redeeming about this at all. Like I can't believe this is supposed to take place after Black Ops 2 and like of how good Black Ops 2 is. Uh and man, if um I just thought about this now. If they did the thing in I think it was MW2 or no, MW3 when they released a campaign a week early, how bad, like how down bad Call of Duty is like right now already because I feel like Black Ops
Oh
7
my
just
god.
has so much hate. Imagine if they released this early and then people played it and then thought the campaign how bad the campaign is now and then they have to go and play multiplayer. Dude, you and I would be worried. Like I know that for a fact after playing the campaign and we didn't get to touch multiplayer. Well, we touched the beta, but I guess that's a bit different. But imagine people that didn't play the beta, they played the campaign and they're like, this is like, what is multiplayer going to be like if this
Oh,
is a
well,
campaign?
I mean, dude, maybe I don't I personally think it could be kind of weird, but I think they did that on purpose. I think they knew it was so shit
I
that
mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
if this came out early, people would have returned the game. People would like the slander already is so bad towards the campaign, and rightfully so. I think that if it just came out early, people would have immediately been like, "Oh hell no!" Like
Yeah.
we're jumping ship, we're out of here. You know, like I don't mean to get too tinfoil hat
Mhm,
on it, but I somewhere in me I do feel that
mhm,
because there again there's just to me, bro, there's no way these people put this campaign out not knowing that it's like subpar. Not even
oh,
like horrible,
mhm,
that it's like, in corporate speak, we didn't get enough development time to fully realize our
mhm,
goal of what we were looking for. It did like a fully comprehensive campaign. Like, you know
mhm,
what I mean? They had to have known that, yeah, this was like in their eyes a 6 out of 10, you
mhm.
know?
And they're actually they did just enough to get something out for the year.
Right.
Uh, and I'm gonna stand on the side of Treyarch would have never signed off on this, and that they just had to go along with it because they didn't have enough people to go and like rally up the troops over there.
Yeah,
And anybody from Raven that worked on this, like they're probably like, man, imagine putting that out and like you worked on it and you just know like this is
it's
not it.
horrible.
This is awful.
Yeah, no,
Like the
it's
product that you're putting out sucks.
yeah, it's so bad. I mean, I don't really know what's left to say then, Justin. I gotta ask you, just like the BO6 review. Out of 10, what do you give the BO7 campaign?
uh, I'm gonna say that I feel like if the campaigns are gonna keep being like this, just don't put them out. Like it's literally not worth it.
Yeah,
And maybe this was them thinking that this is the way to kill campaigns. Let's just put out something shit so then we can stop making it because everyone will be so upset.
yeah,
Like it's just not worth it. You need a dedicated team to like write a good storyline and like work on this, and they just didn't, you know, respect these characters, which is what I hate. Like I don't like that either. Like you kill Soap, at least you killed Soap in an in-game cutscene, I guess.
right.
Not a rendered
And at least that
scene.
game had missions.
Linear missions too, yeah. That was also the only good thing about the hijacked mission. It was silenced. We were stealthy. That was it.
Mhm. Yeah,
But what I rate this, I'm sure no one's surprised. Like out of 10, I give it a 1. If 0 is an option, it's 0. Like legit, and you know me, like I try not to be critical of just games in general and like campaigns. And if you go back to MW3, I gave it like a 3-2, and I was pissed about that campaign. I was
right.
so mad. I'm giving this a 1. That says something. What about you?
Dude, a 2.
A 2?
I'm not giving it a 1 because I don't like saying this, but I feel like the bar can be even lower.
Yeah.
I feel like
No campaign.
like
No, dude,
like,
no campaign's
bro,
better.
I mean, yeah, but no. MW3 was horrible, and
Mhm.
we were like, "Dude, there's no way they could get
Mhm.
worse." And then Raven was like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
And
No, two's
and
fair. Two's fair.
and they made it worse. But there's some point in this life, there may be another COD campaign that comes out that just makes this look so much better.
Mhm.
They could do it like complete like Fortnite skins, complete disaster town. Like, I don't know what they could do, but I wouldn't put it past them. I give this definitely though a 2 out of 10.
Mhm.
Um, a 1 is completely reasonable too.
Mhm.
There's nothing redeeming about it. If you haven't played it, I don't recommend it. Unless you are like us and you're in the completionist realm. I just saw someone, by the way, on our Discord here. This guy, I pulled him up. Shout out Jordan. He said, "No campaign for me yet. Deep into the camo grind. Check this. He says, fifth prestige level 30 and three-quarters of the way through singularity. Homie's grinding."
Grinding.
Yeah, I mean, shout out this guy, like, love it.
Shout out
And as
Jordan.
another people were saying, Endgame's great, but have to suffer first to get there, and I'm not sure it's worth it. Gentlemen, it ain't worth it. Stay on your grind, Jordan. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Don't
this
even
guy, it's
play it.
Dino. He's like, I don't know if it's worth it, brother. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, unless you really want to do the end game thing, you go for it, but you will have to waste 4.5 to 5 hours of your life. And that was with two of us, and we're okay. If
Mhm.
you're solo on this, I don't know what those bosses look like, how that all scales, but um, yeah, trust me, it's not worth it. You totally skip it this year. You're not
Yeah.
missing anything remotely.
Which, I just can't believe it. I you and I finished it yesterday, we're like, "Alright, let's go play 2v2s." Yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
yeah, like,
let's go redeem
we
ourselves
gotta
on
get
the
some
2v2
dope.
and enjoy that. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
wait, quick pivot, 2v2s, we've been having a blast on that in Gunfight.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are
they're
always
phenomenal.
fun. Multiplayer,
You
man,
can't hate on those.
multiplayer's been good. Um, yeah, I mean, I think every other creator that has played through the campaign thinks this campaign's awful. So,
Yeah.
um, just don't put it out next time. Like
Yeah, if it's gonna be this bad, just skip it altogether, and just
Mhm.
give us like, with the good multiplayer and hopefully zombies. We still have to try zombies, so we'll be trying that. But again, the multiplayer, like this game is great aside on the multiplayer aspect of it. Um, it's gonna be tough when we do our end of year review, but we
Yeah,
will have
yeah,
to remember
yeah.
that Raven, it was Raven,
It was
wasn't Treyarch
Raven.
full on. It's like, so it's a we have to scale that.
Yeah. This is worth nothing.
Yeah, it's like this is worth half
Yeah.
point. It's a half point deduction, but
Um,
we'll figure it out.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I mean, you did give a quick shout out to Jordan and Dano from the Discord, which by the way, we have a Discord now.
Absolutely.
If you guys don't know, like go click the link in our Twitter and also we're posting a lot. So just come join the Discord. We're gonna talk about COD, talk about like other games, like literally anything. And especially when the CDL comes up too. When the CDL happens and you and I are watching, we will be talking
Oh
about
yeah.
it. We
Oh yeah.
we're trying to make this a community. You know, and there's a lot of casual COD players out there. So come and join the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have the
Uh,
link in the description for sure.
yeah, yeah. Which side note too, the I don't know if you saw, but Tyler, he did like a GameStop meetup. Well, it was a midnight
Mhm.
release, and he just put out his vlog on it. And like I watched it
Oh,
yesterday,
I gotta
and
watch that.
it's it's a good vlog. It's like 12 minutes long. And obviously it's different, right? Like midnight releases back in the day used to be, lines out the door. In this,
Right.
I mean, it was a pretty good show out. It wasn't crazy. The store wasn't filled up or anything, but the fact that people still showed up, like kind of last minute too, um, and just hung out with him, hung out with each other, talked about the game, and like had a 1v1 station, had some pizza. Uh, those were the days. It was cool that he recreated that, and Tyler's just one of the guys. Like I appreciate creators that go and try and do that because remember when Boston Breach they did the MW2 midnight release.
Midnight release.
That was awesome because they had their own space. Like you and I stayed up the whole time, and we were just like watching people game. We were playing. Like it was so much fun.
Yeah, dude, those were like again, those are moments that you don't realize how good they are until now you look back and you're like, yeah, that was a pretty sick time.
Mhm.
Like, and again, catching that feeling of a midnight release and playing the game at midnight, it still hits. It's different for us too. It's weird playing now on Black Ops 7.
Yeah.
It's like we're in our own spaces and everything, but it is dope to be like playing those games together still after all these years at night when the game comes out. It's
Mhm.
still a vibe.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was at work and people were like, "So yeah, you play Black Ops 7?" Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're all like adults and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I felt like a kid again. It's just
Yeah.
moments like that, like knowing staying up till midnight. We got the energy drinks, we got our snacks going, and
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah.
just grinding. Um,
Yeah, it's a great time.
yeah, so I shout out Tyler for doing that. I hope like other creators do that. Tyler was like in the vlog, we might have to do this again next year, but like give way more notice to people because it was super last minute.
Yeah.
Um, he was like, "Yeah, we'll do it in PA." I'm like, "Should we just make the trip down to surprise?" Be like, "Yo, we're staying."
Yeah, I was gonna say we drive there for the midnight release, we go back.
That yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, multiplayer's been good. Campaign is ass. Don't even play the campaign, to be honest. But yeah, if you guys are listening on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know down below what do you think of this campaign if you had to play
Mhm.
through it too, and give us a rating 1 through 10. Because yeah, we give it a 1 and 2 because that's what it deserves.
Yep. If I
But
see anything above a 4, I'm gonna be bullshit.
yeah, you work for them. You're one of them, huh?
Yeah, right.
uh, but yeah, we're also on anchor.fm/the COD Casuals. We're on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we chop it up and post it on Instagram Reels and TikTok. And now we have a Discord. So if you want to come and like
Mhm.
chat with us, that's probably going to be where we're most active alongside X or Twitter. So go join the Discord. The link's going to be down in the description, and we're just going to keep shouting it out every episode because we're trying to grow this community. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's it, right?
That's it, man.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. This has been episode 249 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.